Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video. In today's video, we're diving into the 10-star Kizuna clash against WAPOL for the 6+1 lore with some chopper friend captain teams. But don't stress, the teams don't use any of the new batch at all. They only require a friend captain chopper. Now, if you guys can't find friend captain choppers, don't stress. I put out 2 other videos that use accessible buildable teams that use the 10th anniversary legends as friend captains rather than chopper. But today, we are focusing on getting as many drops as possible for you guys that do have access to chopper friend captains. Now, if you don't have access or you only have a couple, you can always use the suicide strat, jump in, jump out, and then just run other teams for your assists. But like I said, today, the teams are built around chopper as our friend captain. Now, obviously, Chopper is recommended for all these fights. We're not using Dr. Hero Look, we're not using Dr. Correa, but against PSY Variation, slasher-driven cerebral characters get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there is Pain, Paralysis, and Special Reverse. And then on the final stage, you have to deal with an 85% HP cut, Bind, full immunity except for Paralysis, normal attacks only, an attack down if you're below a 3.5 times chain multiplier, 5 turns of defense up, and an intimidation for an attack and an orb boost. If you use a chain multiplier buff on the final stage, you get attack down, a full board of negative orbs, I believe, or maybe it's, bomb slots, and then you lose all your beneficial effects. On top of that, on defeat, you're going to take 50,000 damage. So there's a lot to digest with this particular stage, but we are utilizing the new anniversary Luffy Gear 5 INT as our captain with a friend captain Chopper. Now remember, Chopper will just buff the entire team as long as they are an INT based unit, and then utilizing this guy as our captain is going to be a 3 times attack boost for the final stage, and it works out very, very nicely. On turn 2, you do get hit with a bunch of paralysis as well as special reverse. So the special reverse is a little bit annoying, because we do want to use the Blackbeard special on turn 2. An easy way around this, though, is utilizing the Nami support to get 1 turn of paralysis removal on either your Luffy, your Chopper, or on your Robin Koala. Now, if you guys don't have Nami, you can actually utilize the Rare Recruit Nami from the Uta batch. That'll actually work out fine. Now, remember, you are getting slapped with Pain on this particular stage, but with Chopper as a friend captain, you just bypass that, so it doesn't even matter. You want to use the Blackbeard special on turn 2, because our captain is a powerhouse unit. He gives us a chain boundary for 1 turn, and as long as he hit 2 perfects, he can actually carry that into the next stage, which works out really, really nicely. On the final stage, we have a 3-turn attack boost with Luffy, 3-turn orb boost with Robin Koala. We have Chopper's color affinity, which works great, so that way we bypass the intimidation. Chopper removes the bind. He gives resistance down for cerebral characters. And then finally, we have Shanks for a chain buff. Like I said, if you're using that Rare Recruit Nami, she's going to give you a chain buff as well, which works great. But this particular team's just going to do a little bit more damage because Shanks hits harder. Shanks also gives you a higher chain buff, and then you're just good to go from there. With this particular team as well, you do have access to the EX of Luffy. Luffy can be a color affinity booster with his EX, but the main reason we want to use the EX is purely for the heal. Remember, you take 50,000 damage, you take a massive HP cut on this particular stage as well, so utilizing the Chopper super type, using the EX of Luffy, and utilizing the Chopper special means that you are going to heal back over. Chopper gives you base stats, he also gives you tap timing, I believe. He's a very, very good captain as well with all his healing shenanigans. But with this team, like I said, you have an attack boost, orb boost, color affinity boost, resistance down, chain boost, chain boundary, as well as base stat boosting as well. So works very, very nicely. You can also rush with Luffy too, which is great. On to the next variation, which is the quick fight of WAPOL. This one is a fucking doozy, man. This, I don't know what, like, who hurt whoever made this goddamn fight. Free Spirit cerebral characters and powerhouse units get all the good stuff. On turn 2, you have to deal with Hunger, Bind, Recovery Orbs, dealing damage and a full board of them. On the final stage, you come up against WAPOL, who gives 3 turns of Crewmate Silence, 4 turns of a special limit of 2 times, which is very, very annoying to deal with for most players. You also have a 5-turn attack orb and chain multiplier buff at a very low limit. Full immunity except for delay, 1 turn of defense up, normal attacks only. Your captain gets 1 turn of special reverse. You get an attack down if you're below a 3 times chain, and there's a 2-turn intimidation for 3 turns. Massive. If you guys use a color affinity boost or a conditional boost. If you do delay the enemy, however, for 1 turn, you'll remove the attack down below a certain chain, lose that small attack and orb boost, but you have to deal with 7 turns of paralysis. So, yes. So what we're actually doing with this particular team is we're utilizing Shanks as our captain. Now, Ace kind of works a little bit, but Shanks just actually works a little bit better because his EX can remove the Intimidation debuff. That Intimidation debuff for 3 turns of a color affinity and a conditional boost is actually so ridiculously annoying. Plus, if we use the Shanks EX before removing that 1.1 orb boost, we actually won't get the 2.5, and we'll actually get Robin and Koala's instead. Robin and Koala will also be a what's it called? They'll also be a color affinity booster as well as an orb booster themselves, which works out really, really nicely. We are going to use Black Maria and Ulti to delay the enemy. Once we delay the enemy, it is going to remove that orb and attack buff, so we can remove that very, very small limit, and then we can actually utilize the Robin Koala orb buff color affinity after obviously removing the intimidation. And then these guys are going to give us a conditional boost as well, so we can actually remove that, which works nicely. We're utilizing Monster and, I think it's Monster and Bonk Punch. Yeah, Bonk Punch and Monster here. They are here because they give you 3 turns of a chain boost. That's going to block that very small chain boost, but they also trigger Shanks' EX. I just had to find another way to bring another character that could. And look, that was the best way to go about it. Finally, we have Luffy on the team. Luffy is obviously triggering Shanks' EX. He's going to turn into a cerebral character, which is awesome. He applies increased damage taken, which makes him very valuable. Plus, he can either be the attack booster for the team, or he can be the chain boundary. With Shanks, though, you're going to get the color affinity of Robin Koala, so then you can actually utilize Shanks as your chain boundary unit, which is going to be really, really nice. Remember, you do get 3 turns of hunger. Utilizing Shanks and his hunger ability will remove that, which is awesome. Chopper, as a friend captain, will also have hunger, so just be mindful of that. That works out really, really nicely. But on turn 2, I actually just totally spaced on what turn 2 does. Turn 2, we need to deal with Bind as well, which Shanks can actually get rid of, which is really, really nice. Swapping with Ulti and Maria on turn 2 as well, after using Bonk Punch, obviously, is going to give you some matching orbs, which is great. So that way you don't have to worry about those recovery orbs too, which is just really, really hunky-dory. The Chopper friend captain is going to give us a bunch of healing. He does base stats. He does tap timing. He does some really, really nice stuff. And with this particular team, you'll have the chain boost of Bonk Punch and Monster, or buff of Robin Koala and their color affinity boost, the attack boost of Luffy, who does boost cerebral characters with his attack boost, I believe, because of the whole shenanigans. Yeah, so he does Fighter, Powerhouse, Slasher, and Free Spirit characters, which I think is pretty much everyone on this team, except for what's her name? Black Maria and Ulti. Black Maria and Ulti seem to be the only ones that won't get the attack buff, but at the end of the day, that's really not that big of an issue. You have increased damage taken, you have base stats too, which is really, really nice, and you have a conditional against delay, which is super hunky-dory. Remember though, once you do delay, you do have to deal with paralysis, so I do have the Line Juice support, I do have Rayleigh and Mr. 1, and Double Finger to get around to the paralysis. You can use Barto over over Mr. 3, but you are going to have to find another paralysis remover, and I don't really know if there is any decent ones available for this particular build, but that's the team anyway. Moving on to the INT fight, and the INT fight, it's a little bit more digestible, to be honest, than the one we just read. Dex, Psi, INT characters get all the good stuff. On turn 2, there is a Super Burn and a slot barrier for bomb slots. You also get a full board of bomb slots to take 30,000 damage on death. After level 30, you have to deal with the regular stuff, plus a 50% HP cut, a bunch of bind, a special reverse on your captains, healing convert to damage from recovery and similar slots, except for recovery and similar slots, poison orbs, full immunity except for paralysis, despair on your captains, 1 turn of paralysis, and if you remove the poison and you're below 50% HP, for 1 time, you'll take a full board of bind, as well as resilience. So your sailors get 8 turns of bind, and you have to deal with 5 turns of resilience. But utilizing Shanks once again works really, really nicely here. He's just so good for pretty much every variation, man. Mainly because his EX can remove the intimidations and whatnot, but on this fight, he removes all the binds, plus his special just deals with turn 2. So we want to utilize Shanks on turn 2, remove the barriers, remove the bomb orbs, basically, you're hunky-dory from there. I think we're using Bonk Punch and Monster again on this team. I know we're using a Luffy. Yeah, we're using Bong Punch and Monster on this team once again. They're going to give us 3 turns of a chain buff, which is going to be really, really nice. They're pretty much just like the best character I could find that's a fighter that'll work under both Chopper and Shanks. But they're going to give us 3 turns of a chain buff, which works out really, really nicely. Another character you probably could use is the free-to-play Blackbeard to just give some increased damage taken if you can hit 2 perfects on this stage. Which I believe you can. I don't see why you couldn't. But Shanks is going to give you 3 turns of color affinity as a captain. Going to carry that into the final stage. And then on the final stage, you're going to have Luffy to give you a attack boost. You have Nami to give you a conditional boost. And then this Chopper basically just takes care of literally everything. It works out really, really nicely. Chopper can remove, at level limit break 5, can remove the healing convert to damage. He removes the poison. He removes the despair. He removes the paralysis. He basically just does everything that you need him to do. Plus, he does 1 turn of special reverse as well, because your captains do get special reverse by 1 turn, I believe. I believe it's only your captains. Yeah, it's only your captains, which means that you can then get back your friend Captain Chopper special, and then use all the base statting shenaniganry there. Luffy is going to be your attack booster, as I mentioned. Shanks is your orb booster. Luffy can then increase that orb boost as well, so just be mindful of that. We have Enel on our Nami to get around the resilience, because once you remove the poison, we are going to be below that limit, so just be mindful of that. Enel's enderturn damage will kill that resilience, plus you could use Momo on Luffy as well. Like, that's another really, really good option for you guys. But there you guys go. That's going to wrap up the Chopper friend captain teams for you guys. Hopefully they help you guys out to get as many tickets as possible if you guys did know summons. Hopefully you guys did know summons and you were just very, very smart and spent all your gems on anniversary banners. But these teams should help you out nonetheless. And if they do, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, if you guys aren't in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.